was happening at all. It just blacked out afterwards. But
I'm
excited.
That is a weird flex if I've ever heard a weird flex. It's like, oh no, I hopped into the game and then I got promoted to Grandmaster League. Sure, man.
Well, I mean, it would be a flex if I mentioned it was also with my Zerg. Anyhow, Kevin, here we are getting into the game. Spawning over in the bottom right-hand side, playing for Team Liquid on Blackburn. It is Clem.
I love it. That of course means that in the bottom left side of Blackburn, we're looking at the main base of the man who is playing as a Zerg. Is he a Grandmaster League 2? Of course he is. It is Stephano.
Going to be interesting, this one. Like, I think for Stephano, Clem is definitely one of the more difficult opponents to go up against, but getting out the hardest game of the group, which this very much could be for Stephano, I don't think is always a bad thing, honestly.
I just want to tease you about that. That's so funny. It's like, oh no, Ben, I can't actually see the refinery going down. I just got promoted to Grandmaster League.
Man, I was worried for a second. I was like, am I not joining the game? But then it went from like the black screen to because like you press OK, and then it went directly right into the game. The countdown. It was very odd. Anyhow, Kevin, enough about me. Enough about me. Let's make all about me. Right?
All right, so I'm curious to see if Clem would even consider playing mech here. I don't think that Clem needs to play mech against Stephano, of course, and I also think that he's more of a bio player than he is of a mech player. But we've seen him play mech a couple of times in the past, not so much on Blackburn, but we do see the Korean and Terran players have a lot of success playing mech on this map.
Yeah, I mean, the one that really comes to mind is the Maru game against Reina on this map, right? It was like, it really kind of turned around that series in a way, and then it started looking like, oh, has Maru found the way to beat Reina? But yeah, I think you're right. I think Clem, when he goes up against anybody in this matchup, he's arguably the best TVZ bio player in the world. And I think it's good to kind of go with what you know. And I know that he had this little bit of a, I don't want to call it a slump. He was a little bit shaky for a few weeks, and he was open about it. I think it's also then good to be like, all right, back on the tournament circuit, let's show him what I'm made of, and show myself, most importantly, what I'm made of.
And I definitely think he did that last Monday. And a very convincing performance in the weekly. Went 6-0 against a bunch of good Protoss players. And guys that beat him as well in some of the previous editions, like Lil Bao and Max Pax. And of course looked amazing in the grand finals against Rainer. Did have to work for it, but managed to get a 3-2 W in the end. So what is this opening coming out of Clem? Is this a good old, what is this? Triple CC 2 barracks?
Yeah, it's the like the 3cc 2-on-1. It's something that he very often pulls out on Romanticide from what I've seen. Gives you the bit, well, we'll see what the follow-up is exactly, but normally you go up to about 4 Hellions, and then you can whip out either, well, double medevac afterwards, or go straight into more Hellions in a single medevac and do a push. But yeah, it gives you a lot of mobility. You can clear up a lot of the creep. You can punish the greedy Zergs if you do so please. But in general, you just have a lot of Marines and very quick stim. It's a much more economic 2-on-1.
Stephano not doing anything weird so far, has made nothing but drones and queens by the looks of it, other than the initial safety 4 Zerglings against the first Reaper. Clem is actually just gonna hop into the natural as the queens are a bit out of position, and Stephano is taking damage in the face in a game where I don't think you're supposed to take damage. Losing 2 drones, losing a lot of mining time, will pick up the Reaper and 1 Hellion. I guess the second Hellion will always die too. Seems like Clem just kind of suicided this, tried to take some units down and make sure everything is normal, and now he knows it is.
I gotta say, it started off looking like it was going to do way more than it ended up doing. But I like the test, because it's like just checking out what your opponent's doing, if he's playing greedy or not. Here we get to see how Group B is actually looking. Right now, there's no super surprise that shouts out at me, although Bly
getting a 2-0. Yeah, that is maybe not a super surprise, but I gotta say, well, not bad, Bly, not bad at all.
Not bad. Still managing to eke out wins like 11 years on, and we're still all wondering how he keeps getting away with it, quite truly. But yeah. Oh, Stephano going for real fast upgrades this game, Kevin, and that's kind of cool.
Going for the double Evo before even considering tacking up to Lair. Clem has loaded up 2 medevacs, so he's going to send out his first 60 Marines. We know that Clem's micro can be nothing short of spectacular in some of these moments. It's really important for Stephano that he respects this when it does show up. Clem is not going to do anything too crazy. He's not going to go to the main. Seems like we're just going to throw down a scan and pick off a couple of creep boomers here in the front. And at this point, even just dealing with 60 Marines of Clem and Stim is kind of annoying when you don't have any bailings, you don't have bailing speed. You really need to be careful if you're Stephano.
Certainly do, but it's got to be said, so far he's handling this decently. I think the only mistake he made so far was having an Overlord on that creep, which, yeah, was unfortunately caught out for him, but he's going to have the upgrade advantage for a little bit of time, which is good. The Bailey Nest is late. The one thing is, Clem is so scary, this kind of push, that the worker count, like, he macros up so damn well behind all of this pressure that I actually don't know how he does it so well. Like, his play absolutely reminds me a lot of Maru's play. Like, they're both so good at the macro behind all the micro.
Well, Clem is going to rotate around a little bit with his Marines, pick up a couple of Cryptumers on the high ground. He's quite comfortable taking that trade against the Lynx. I don't think maybe one Marine went down there. I gotta say, it's nice to have a gold base, but it's going to be very hard to actually get proper mining of this gold, right? Because the way that Stephano played, he's not going to have Mudas for quite some time. And if these Marines are on the right side of your gold mineral line, Queens and Lynx, they don't really like to take too many fights there.
Absolutely. And I mean, Terran's one of the best racers at dealing with, or planting harass on the opponent. Stephano does have the upgrade advantage right now, doing a good job as well at transfusing these units, and he will get the gold base up. But the thing is, you're totally right. How will he utilize it? He is going for lurk attack here, and is going for a bit of a counter attack here as well.
I think the next minute and a half in this game are going to be the most difficult for Stephano. As he's been bleeding out quite a few Zerglings. Does get a Bailing connection there, so that's nice, because if that Bailing... Oh, he's setting up a Bailing run by the third base of Clem. There is a safety tank. They have slow Bailings. Can they connect? One of them, but that's not good enough.
Absolutely wasn't. Clem is now equal on the upgrades. He's also pushed back this creep in the middle of the map a lot. That is 2 slow Banes, and that is easy pickings for Clem.
Yeah, well, this is starting to look real brutal for Stephano. He's losing a lot of Lings and Banes against these Marines. Don't forget, there are still Marines on the right side of the gold base too. That's going to make it very hard for Stephano to protect those drones. Clem could use them, but Clem is too focused trying to win the game with this set of Marines. He's going to be forced to pick up, and now he can move the other Marines forward, and this is really turning into a bit of a nightmare for Stephano.
It's one of those games where you're like, whoa, I waited the day for this? Like, I just got brutalized. And he absolutely is getting brutalized. Clem, obviously a different beast compared to the last few times that these guys encountered one another. But yeah, that march, that parade, getting the Widowmine set up, this is not looking good for Stephano. He needs to smash this army, never mind just beat it back.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, right? Especially if creep starts to disappear. The Bailing count is starting to get pretty high. We have a couple of Zerglings coming in from the top right. That's nice to know, but these Bailings not getting the connections that Stephano was looking for. And geez Louise. You guys wonder what clean looks like in PvZ? I think that's about as clean as they come. Clem making it look easy here in game 1.
Yeah, he absolutely turned up right. Like, not one mistake was made. He just played effortless, flawless. I don't think Stephano is playing a bad game. It's just Clem. He can do this to he can do this to some of the best Zergs in the world. Never mind, like, if you're a very, very, very good Zerg. So, yeah, no shame in that for Stephano at all. Clem's just, and he has been for a while, I feel like, maybe the best TVZ player on the planet, at least against the European Zergs.
Really nice defensive tank positioning, of course, because imagine a world where those tanks aren't there, then maybe those slow Bailings do find the connections that you're looking for. You blow up 14 SCVs and you're like, cool. Now looking back at it, maybe it would have been better for Stephano to wait for Bailing speed, but I can also understand that he was trying to just throw Clem off his rhythm, trying to make Clem play his game a little bit more rather than him chasing after these Marines in the medevacs that you're just not going to kill with the Lynx. He tried, it didn't work out. The next map should be a bit better for Stephano. Romanticide is obviously, I feel like, considered to be a very even map in this matchup, right? Zerg's got their things, but Terran have plenty of good strategies, and I think locations to work with on this map as well.
Yeah, certainly.
Stephano,
Stephano's just letting us know that he's not in a particular team anymore. Oh, it's okay. Yeah. He sees an old team of his on the floor next to his base and stuff. So yeah, he's just letting the guys know that he's not part of that team anymore. He is actually working for O Gaming as a programmer, which is super damn cool. And yeah, I mean, Stephano, for those that maybe are new to StarCraft, for a period of time, Stephano was the greatest foreigner of all time. Like, he was the guy that came onto the scene and really was the first to showcase the Koreans that foreigners can fight back to. And yeah, it seems such a lifetime ago, but he really was the guy that everybody wanted to beat for quite a period of time as well.
Apparently, Stephano's one wish is to be representing Team Love in this game. Well, I don't know if we have any logos for that, Stephano, but I feel like we should, you know, get a couple nice hearts around your hatcheries or your neck side. Why the hell not, man?
You know what picture I want, Kevin? I want that picture of him on Instagram on the beach with a...
That's so good. Oh, that picture's so good.
Just have that scattered everywhere. I want that to be his logo. I want that everywhere, Kev.
I have no idea who that man was when I saw that picture come by on my Instagram feed, but I'm like, oh my goodness, Stephano looking like he walked straight out of Miami Vice or something. Anyway, Romanticide is going to be our battleground for our second map of this opening best of 3 for both of these gentlemen. In the bottom right side, we're looking at the main base of our French Zerg, playing in front of a French flag as well. It is Stephano.
And spawning over in the top left of Romanticide as the Red Terran, it is Liquid's Clem. Dude, I so wanted to say Clam. I'm ruined. I'll never be the same.
I gotta say, it's amazing that Clem got this cool HD camera for his birthday, because most of these gamer webcams is like, alright, we can sort of see you, but Clem is looking real sharp.
I like that Stephano is repping the French flag in the background as well. Do you know what's also very cool? Zombiger brought it up. The fact that like quarter of the players are French this season, which is, I've always known it's a strong country, but frickin' hey, did they show right on back up.
Would have been real fun if we put all 8 of them in the same group.
That'd be fairly brutal.
Yeah, we'll call it underdogs. Hey man, 4 Frenchies would advance to the playoffs. It's pretty good.
I mean, that's a good stat. Like, it's actually seeing Lilbo back and doing well. I know we're going to see him in the next match, but frickin', that's something that I never thought would happen.
No, he's been around for a long time. Obviously, he got very involved in Overwatch first as a player. Then I think he was a manager for a little bit of an academy team. Yeah, then he suddenly started streaming StarCraft 2. And I gotta say, he was very consistent. And then you see him rise through the ranks, 5.5, 5.8, 6K, 6.2, 6.3, and you see him doing some damage in the weeklies. And I gotta say, it felt like it was just a matter of time, because if you can defeat Clem in the European Pro Tour Weekly, you're probably good enough to make it into the DreamHack Masters, where the best 32 players of Europe are duking it out. And I can't really think of 32 players that would beat Clem in the weekly, Ben.
No, me neither. Like, the only player that I remember him losing to last season was, like, in this tournament was Gung Fu Banda, I do believe. But yeah, you have to be damn good to take out Clem, it does seem. This map, by the way, we do have the Reaper obviously dealing some harass. Nice micro by Stephano, keeping every single Ling that he made alive. This is one of the maps where I very often see Clem do the same build that he did the previous map. He just likes the second barracks, you get the stem out, and he likes taking out the creep in the middle.
Look how annoying he is with this Reaper. I'm getting triggered looking at this Reaper. Because he could just click it far away, right? But then he doesn't. He does like these micro clicks where he's like, hey, Queen, you want to shoot? And then he clicks it like half a centimeter further. And he's like, okay, you want to catch up? And it always reminds me of that little interview where they asked him, if you were a StarCraft 2 unit, which unit would you pick? And then Clem said, the Reaper, because it's really annoying. And now every single time I see him have the annoying Reaper movement, I just think of that little interview. Oh, this Reaper could be in a bit of trouble. It's a Clem Reaper. They're never in trouble.
They're never in trouble. Oh, okay. So it's actually a starport for Clem. He does have the fairly early second gas after going to 3cc. And he is moving around the add-ons and stuff, so probably going for a Cloak Banshee build this game. I always love Cloak Banshee plays. I feel that and you've said it multiple times, it's just one of those builds that you're never dead, but you can really outplay your opponent a lot with it, and it's just a way to almost confirm that you're going to get into a game of some sort.
Last game, Clem was pretty reckless with his Reaper and his first 2 Hellions. Got a bit of damage done and some lost mining time, but could have been worse. Seems like he's not going to do that again. Stephano is not changing things up. He once more drops the 2 evolution chambers before considering tacking up to Lair. It's obviously awesome if you can start running around with a big swell of Lings and Banes, and they've got those great upgrades early into the game. But I feel like defending against whatever stuff Clem throws at you does become a bit more difficult when you play this style.
Absolutely. And
oh, wow.
Oh.
That's sick.
Didn't get,
not just...
Yeah, didn't get to see quite how it happened. We just got to see that it happened. Links around
I
some
saw
of the
how it
Hellions.
happened.
Oh, you did?
Stephano had his Lings right at the edge of the, or right on top of the ramp, and Clem obviously doesn't have high ground vision there, and then just kind of flicked halfway up the ramp, and that's when Stephano just dove on it immediately and got the insta surround.
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
I'm my own observer, Benjamin. I trust in y'all, but, you know, the tiny details, someone has to pay attention to them.
Yeah, I need to start following you, man. Like, yeah, keep up, okay?
Definitely not, mate. My mouse is in the corner quite often.
Okay. It was interesting, by the way, because I was looking at Stephano's production tab. He did start a Roach Warren at some point and then cancel it almost immediately. So I don't know if it was a mistake or whether it was just something going on. Maybe something ticked him off, but he does go for a macro hatch in his main, which does signal that he just wants to go a lot of Ling Bane. Not really any tech for him available anyway at the moment in time, given that he is just starting his lair.
You know, I've got absolutely no issues with the style that Stephano is playing, but I do feel this is a very difficult style to get away with against Clem, because you're obviously delaying everything, your layer, your overseers, your speed banes. I feel like he's doing a lot of stuff, which obviously means he's going to spread himself thin, and if you spread yourself very thin against Clem, he's going to find a lot of openings.
Certainly is. So far, though, it's got to be said, his defense is pretty damn good. And these Lings, these wraparounds and stuff that he's getting going, even going for the Evo Chamber wall off there, or is he even going to get some drones? I think Stephano's actually handling a lot of this really damn well, it's got to be said, but I'm with you.
No, absolutely. He is doing a great job, but I don't think he's out of the woods just yet. Don't forget that that 4th hatchery did get cancelled a little while ago, and it hasn't been rebuilt yet. The Queens are going to start unleashing some damage on one of these forward Queens. Well done by Stephano. Kills the Banshee, doesn't lose the Queen. All right, well, I doubted him. He is floating some money, sure, but I'm with you, Ben. He handled all of that quite well.
Yeah, it's always so fun for me watching some of these young players, by the way, like Clem. Every time something goes a little bit wrong, you see it in his face. He starts looking like he's, I don't want to say he looks like he's tilting, but he's literally tilting his head and being like, oh, you know, you can almost see the frustration in his face where he knows something wasn't meant to happen. But yeah, this game definitely looking healthier, but that wasn't the best.
No, you can't be doing stuff like that though. Stephano was floating some money for quite some time. Now losing that Overlord means he's supply blocked. Losing a lot of Lings in the center means he can't immediately fight his army. We know what Clem is capable of when he's got Stim Marines and the Zorg doesn't have Bailing speed yet. Stephano is going to push this back, but money is just skyrocketing because he was supply blocked for quite some time.
Yeah, having your hatchery denied as well. Oh, that Widow Mine is actually going to get up. I mean, he's done a good job of not letting it do much so far, has Stephano, but all it takes... that wasn't too bad.
I mean, it wasn't great either.
Wasn't great. Wasn't the worst. Wasn't game ending, though. Like, Stephano's still alive, but... Oh, the Drilling Claws isn't actually ready, so Stephano can react to this in time.
Stephano's just losing a lot of units and not killing a whole lot of units yet, and things are just going to get more and more difficult when Drilling Claws is ready. This mine drop, is Stephano paying attention? The answer is yes. Will he pull them in time? Well, could have been worse. Not bad, but oh, the final one was sexy. Good job there by Stephano, moving the drone into his Spore Crawler. But you look at the minimap, Clem is in the center, Clem is dropping the natural, and Clem is also with an army in the bottom side. This is peak Clem, and it's just a nightmare to play against this as a Zerg.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's having to move pretty deep on creep here, which does make it a bit tricky. Stephano's doing a good job of just dealing with these mines, respecting his opponent. The creep spread hasn't been too bad, actually. I can feel the panic.
Well, Stephano does clean it up. There's still a Widowmine in the center that gets another shot up, this time just on Queens. The Marines get an easy cancel on the 5th base of Stephano and the supplies. I mean, you complimented the macro of Clem. My goodness. And you know what's also very telling is that literally all the action is taking place on this side of the map. Stephano is so busy dealing with all the aggression that Clem is throwing at him. Take a look at Stephano's vision so far. He doesn't even know if Clem has a natural, Ben. No, I'm sure that he assumes there is one there, but he hasn't even seen the natural. He hasn't seen the third. He knows it's there, but the fact that he has not been able to find the APM once to get some units to the other side of the map, it just shows at what kind of an insane level Clem plays in this matchup.
Yeah, he really suffocates his opponent, like right from start to finish, and just never lets them breathe at any point in time. And Stephano, he's damn good, and we've seen that he's actually done a good job of deflecting some of this stuff, but it is relentless. And look, like, it's so hard to keep up. Clem, he's attacking with 3 different armies, 3 different compositions in 3 different points, and he's just rallying across the map, and he's not slowing down at all. He's taking his 4th base behind all of it.
Yeah, this fight in the center should be alright for Stephano, because that's literally all that he has. There is a Widowmine there, though, that gets a pretty decent shot off again. This was obviously not the entire army of Clem. That is the furthest that Stephano got out on the map in quite some time. Obviously not good enough. He's still down 6 workers. It seems impossible for him to get a 5th base up. Okay, does snipe one of these medevacs. Well done. Getting a couple of little victories on the board there, but when a Terran player goes up to 4 bases, and your units have never even confirmed that there is a natural or not, I think it kind of tells whose game we're playing over here, Ben.
I will say this, though, for Stephano. Like, the resources lost tab is almost dead equal. The worker count 73 apiece. The Zerg, like, Stephano's surviving, but he wanted to be at a healthier worker count doing so than what he is at.
Baneling count is at 27 at the moment, so a lot of these extra Banes did finish up. And Burrow is almost done. Maybe we can get some magical burrowed Banelings. The nice thing about not having a whole lot of creep is there is a good chance that you get some sweet burrowed Banelings connections. That'd be a nice little victory for Stephano as he gets in from the left side. These Widowmine shots have been quite big. The second one doesn't do all that much.
The first one did, like, more friendly fire almost, but... Oh! Decent. I don't see that drone count dropping too much, and Stephano, hey, he's actually on the other side of the map, Kev.
Yep. He's about to see that there is a wall of depots here. Is he gonna use the Banelings to just roll into it? Clem's actually gonna move out with a couple of units. He's like, hey, he had a big army there. Just killed my medevac. What happened to it? Oh, look at the Queens in the center of the map actually sniping a Widowmine drop there. That's pretty cool.
I just saw the smile on Stephano's face as well. I think he was like, oh, they weren't meant to be there, but they worked out.
Clem now has a couple of units active on the right side, comes down this ramp, throws down a scan. Stephano is going for his first big attack. Links and Banes into the 3rd, and he's sending a lot of units towards a potential 5th base of Clem. Attacking near Planetary Fortress is real hard, though.
Did you see that? The Banelings just ran past a line of SCVs and fighting here. This might be a bit ambitious, a bit overzealous by Stephano. Will he get? He does get the PF.
And there are still Links killing all the SCVs in the 3rd. There's another little Baneling connection there too. Would have been so sweet if he was able to just burrow 2 Banelings there in the mineral line when Clem transferred all these extra SCVs. Honestly, that was not bad. That was really quite decent by Stephano, taking out a base, taking out 27 SCVs. Oh yeah, he does not have hive tech, he doesn't have lurk attack. He's gonna burrow a couple of Banelings, but it's right in front of Clem's army, and Clem ain't falling to death.
If Clem did fall for that, I'd have been like, Clem, that was the most obvious one of all time, you know, like right in front of you. But no, Clem, a bit too sharp to let him get away with that one. Stephano still trying to... Oh, that was a dancing Baneling. Stephano still hanging on here, still dealing counter damage, and Clem definitely has running on fumes here a little bit, but that is such a big army, and 3-3 is finishing up.
Yep, there is a tiny Ling run by happening on the top side of the map. That's not gonna deal a whole lot of damage as Clem left a couple of units behind. Clem picks up all of his bio units and he's gonna unload everything in the main base. Just look at the mini-map. There are still units being sent towards the top right side too. It feels like Clem is everywhere at once, and Stephano knows it. That is going to do it. Liquid Clump takes the 2-0 victory.